everyone, my name is Uma Chandrasekhar and this is my first video series. In this series, I am exploring the topic of deliberation, the essence of executive leadership. And I am bringing the eminent aspects of the process of deliberation, which is rational and data-driven, to my audience. Welcome to the 43rd video episode. As ever, I am planning to do a recap. I started with the topic on unconscious thought theory in the 40th episode, which states that deliberate rationality reduces the opportunity provided by the intuitive naivety. As most rational decisions are based on data, the consistency of those data-based decisions are under question, as data analysis might respond to miniscule changes, because when we lose consistency, we lose deliberation-based credibility too. Before I start this video log, I want to address the huge nano elephant in the room. The word nano elephant is chosen carefully by me, as elephants are the largest mammals on land, while nanotechnology deals with nanoscale, which is 1/1,000,000th of a meter and invisible to human naked eyes. Now you might have understood that I am trying to get the two extremes to meet at the same point, or at some point. It is true that I have been advocating for deliberation in the process of making prudent decisions throughout this video series, and suddenly I began the topic called UTT and have been refuting my theories and explanation, and that's what many of you might be thinking, especially in the last 3 episodes. And so many of you are confused at my approach and murmuring. I thought that I was catching what you were talking about, but I lost it completely now. I understand your frustration, my audience, and I have a proper explanation for the same. Any theory, good or bad, must be weighed on its pros and cons. The pros are the positive extremes and the cons are the negative extremes. Let me rephrase it. I'm using metrics to weigh deliberation by granting scores or points. Then, based on the resultant score, the theory must be adopted or rejected. Hence, I am weighing deliberative thinking on its various aspects, including the dangers that might come out of excessive deliberation. With this clarification, let me continue where I left off. Deliberation in investment decisions. My thought process on investment decisions coincides sufficiently with the thought process of Lauren F. Nordgren. As per Lauren F. Nordgren, a professor at Kellogg School of Management and University of Amsterdam, the consistency of deliberate decisions suffer with excessive deliberation. It is the same professor who co-authored the paper on capacity principle. In his research paper titled "The Devil is in the Deliberation, Thinking Too Much Reduces Preference Consistency," published in the Journal of Consumer Research in 2008, he challenges the idea about the root of inconsistent decisions. As many of us think that intuitive decisions are inconsistent decisions, but his experiments about deliberation proves otherwise. He also suggests that the weighing attributes can undermine the decision consistency. For example, if the decision is to purchase a house, the weighing criteria must be location, size, and price. But if someone includes weighing criteria such as number of electrical sockets in the kitchen or bedroom, color of the carpets, amount of lights in each room, etc., the decision process suffers. Thus, he states that deliberation introduces decisional noise due to poor and unsystematic weighing. In other words, as per Professor Nordgren, a lesser or non-deliberative approach to the process leads to consistent, improved decisions leading to satisfied judgments and improved evaluation of a given subject. Fourth, increased or too much deliberation when making choices impact on 3 folds: time delay, consistency, and accuracy, leading to individual bizarre behavior than a rational one, as I mentioned in the last episode, while I was explaining the process of buying a car with a hypothetical example. Also, the weighed verdict is similar to the saying, "The most fortified castle falls first, as any excessive contribution of resources towards a single entity might lead to significant vulnerabilities and eventual downfall. Therefore, deliberation must be utilized consciously and not excessively to attain consistent, credible decisions. With that inference, I complete the topic of unconscious thought theory, and the topic I'm going to explore now is the ethical aspects of deliberative decision-making process. Remember that I explored the ethical decision-making process in the 15th and the 16th episodes using a hypothetical example of a firefighter's dilemma. Nevertheless, in this episode, I explored the ethical aspects using moral reasoning and morality in the aspects of decision-making. Also, here I am exploring cognitive theory associated with Heinz dilemma, and I am also planning to revisit Lawrence Kohlberg's 6 stages of moral development in order to do so. As per many behavioral decision research, the decision-making models use a normative theory which follows certain basic heuristics and biases. These decision-making models support rationalistic approach which states that decision makers must be deliberative and analytical. Ethical decision-making models follow the normative theory of decision-making as a conscious, intentional, and deliberative process. I want to continue to speak about the complexity of human cognition in order to understand the process of ethics in decisions and moral reasoning. Nonetheless, it is eminent to understand the importance of time management in executive leadership, and hence I end this first video log, and I will continue with the topic of human cognition and ethical aspects of deliberate decisions in the next video log as well. If you want to continue on with me, you'll have to watch the second video log of this 43rd video episode which follows. See you in the next video log. Everyone, I am Uma Chandrasekhar, and this is the second video log of the 43rd video episode, where I am planning to continue on with the exceptional abilities of human cognition through understanding human brain and the associated morality and moral reasoning in order to highlight the dangers of ethical and legal decision process through exploring them with respect to moral reasoning and human cognition. Besides the idea that ethical decision-making models follow the normative theory of decision-making as a conscious, intentional, and deliberative process, the recent theory on human psychology has painted a different picture on various methodologies of human choices, indicating that deliberative decision-making can actually impair people's ability to make ethical decisions when morality is under question. The concepts of moral reasoning form the foundational basics of ethical decision-making process. Moral reasoning is a direct result of human cognition. In other words, the 6 senses of seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and reasoning. The 5 senses, other than reasoning, are the main cause for our language being filled with phrases such as news to our ears, touch upon a subject, taste the success, strategical vision, it's fishy, etc., emulating the pun phrases for the 5 sense words, allowing us to be aware of the first 5 senses. But reasoning is a complicated part of human sense, as human brain is not completely explored by scientists and researchers. Human brain is a complex organ which is believed to explore and analyze almost the same amount of data in 30 seconds as that of analysis or processing that takes place in Hubble Space Telescope in 30 years. So this calculation comparison is an apple to oranges comparison. It is essential to understand the immense processing ability of a human brain, which is capable of making roughly 10 quadrillion to 1 hexaflop processes per second. Many times faster than the expected cognitive tasks task performance from quantum computers when they go fully online in possibly a time period of 5 to 10 years. The data provided to the human brain comes from three sources. Environment, through understanding of the world around us, aka exploration of our environment. Mind, the inner world or our body-based feelings or emotions. And the third one is body, the vestibular, which refers to the sense of balance with respect to our immediate space, simply called spatial awareness, which guides in our movements. In order to understand ethical decision making and moral reasoning, let's understand the three basic cognition concepts of human brain in detail, which are often associated with the sixth sense of reasoning. The first one is called proprioception. This aspect gives the sense of our body, gives this the sense in space around us. The ability to move our arms, limbs, and maneuver them to reach objects in the space around us. The sensory receptors in this aspect of cognition are our muscles, joints, skin, and tendons of our arms and limbs, etc. This cognitive sense is high in people who are used to outdoors, where they experience different types of landscapes as a part of walking, driving, trekking, jogging, running, etc. The workout levels of outdoor people like me are highly helpful in understanding our mind with respect to our location through exploring the spaces around us. This concept can be extended to Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi's work on mindfulness, where he mentioned people can experience genuine emotional satisfaction such as happiness through practicing flow, which refers to complete absorption of human mind into an activity where time flies as human mind experiences immense immersion into a given task. The second cognitive aspect, sense, I am planning to explore here is interoception. This enhances the communication between our brain and body. The ability of our brain to register, interpret, and integrate bodily signals help us to map our body's internal landscape moment across conscious and unconscious levels. It's the basic interpretation originating from within our body. It is also described as brain-body alliance, which allows us to understand human feelings such as hunger, thirst, etc., and the human emotions such as pleasure and fulfillment. The third and the last cognitive sense is vestibular, which arises from the inner part of the human ears, which elaborates the information regarding head and body position. The receptors in our ears are impacted by the movement of the fluid inside our ears, which in turn is a result of our spatial movements with respect to our local environment. It is similar to our body's marine compass, which gives us directional movement in space. These three cognitive levels are associated with Lawrence Kohlberg's 6 levels, which can be further reduced to 3 levels of moral reasoning, and famously known as Heinz dilemma. Heinz dilemma is a simple example of moral reasoning as quoted by Lawrence Kohlberg, the famous philosopher who understood moral reasoning as 2 critical components, the rights and wrongs. His moral reasoning is the justice-centered theory of morality, which focuses on the conflicting social value claims and achieving equilibrium when we are faced with moral dilemma, as I mentioned in the 16th episode of this video series. The story of Heinz dilemma is similar to the famous story of Schrodinger's cat among philosophers. The story discusses 3 moral issues. Whether is it right to commit a crime under extenuating circumstances? If a crime is committed under extenuating circumstances, should the perpetrator need to be punished or excused considering his circumstances which forced him or her to commit a crime? And the third one is, if he or she is to be punished, what kind of punishment should he or she be given? Easy or harsh, inappropriate to the crime committed? As per Lawrence Kohlberg's experiments, the answers to these questions varied depending on the age of the person who answered the 3 questions. He classified the answers into 2 groups, children below 16 and adults above 16 years of age. And the answers from children below 16 years of age were no, yes and harsh to the above 3 questions, while the majority of adults above 16 years of age answered S and EC for the above 3 questions. I want to continue on as the topic on morality and moral reasoning and its impacts on ethical decisions, as the topics are getting increasingly interesting as we are reaching the end of this video series. But the sand is running low on my timer besides my residency in the silicon capital of the world. So it's time for me to finish the second video log and also the 43rd video episode. I will come back in the next video episode, which happens to be the 44th video episode of this video log series titled Deliberation, the Essence of Executive Leadership, and finish the topic on morality and moral reasoning and its implication on ethical deliberation. If you have viewed my video this far, you deserve a thank you. Thank you for viewing.